What's good, bro? Let me just tell you a story, right? It's the start of the lockdown, COVID lockdown, and I'm sitting there looking at myself in the mirror and I just hate what I see. I'm clothes shopping for the sixth grade and I literally need to wear like 15-year-old people's clothes to hide my man boobs and to hide like the fat on my stomach. And no matter how much I try and pull the shirt down to try and hide it, I can't distract myself from the fact that I hate the way I look so much. And I think to myself in that moment, man, I can't keep living like this. And the reason I tell you this story is because in the past 2 years, after going through that experience of being fat, I've lost over 15 pounds and it has changed the way that I live life. I genuinely love life now. And in this video, I just want to give you some advice after doing all that to give you the exact mindset that I used to lose over 15 pounds and make it so much easier to do the hard shit that I needed to do to lose the fat. Because here's the thing, right? I have some notes here, right? This isn't scripted, but if you relate to that story that I told you and you don't like the way that you look, I can almost guarantee right now, and this is from my experiences, that is because you're avoiding pain. Because let me just boil something down for you right now. Everybody overcomplicates the shit out of fat loss. And they tell you, oh, you need to know about calories in, calories out. You need to look at this. Well, like, they tell you all this BS, but let me just tell you how fat loss actually works. Fat loss is a lot like you being in an in-game store. So you can imagine, like, let's say you're at this in-game virtual store and you're in front of this merchant and you want that sword that he has, right? Well, to get that, you usually have to go and do something to get some currency, like it's gold or iron or something, and you have to trade it into him, and then he'll give you the sword, right? Fat loss is a lot like an in-game shop because what I found is that it's almost like you're standing in front of the merchant, which is like the universe or like your body, and you have to trade pain. That's the currency. You have to trade pain in to receive fat loss back. It's almost like the more pain you go through and the more you trade in, the more fat loss you get. And let me tell you right now, there are so many BS videos out there. There's so much just crap I see online about people talking about the easiest way to shred fat, and they'll give you like some weird ass supplement you can try, right? But just hear me out right now. All that fat loss boils down to is just you trading more pain in to receive it, right? Because just imagine this, right? Every time you go through like a workout, right? You go through the sense of, oh, it hurts, I hate it. In fact, that's probably the reason why you don't work out as much as you should, right? And you go through it and it feels painful, but I'll tell you right now, every single time you finish the workout, you feel better. Like, it's because you've traded in that pain. You just receive the feeling of fat loss. You receive that fulfillment that comes from you doing a good habit, right? But the thing that you're probably struggling with too right now is that you have this voice at the back of your head that whenever you try and do some good habit, it just thinks, oh my God, I wish it was easier. Oh, why is it so hard to work out? Why is it so hard to do these good habits? And what you'll end up doing, like what I used to do, is you'll just be there scrolling online looking for some fast way out, some cheap, inexpensive way that you don't have to trade in the pain to get that fat loss. But let me just tell you right now, this is really interesting, right? Let's just say that somehow you found some really easy way. Like I snap my fingers right now and all of a sudden you lose all the fat. Like you're shredded, you're lean, right? If you don't bullshit yourself right now, let me just ask you right now. Would you keep that fat? Like, would you keep that progress that you made? Because although you might not want to tell yourself this, if I were to snap my fingers right now and you lost all that fat, you'd probably gain it all back in a few months. And I don't mean this to like insult you, but the problem is whenever people try and go on fucking shortcuts like liposuction where they vacuum the fat out of your body, what's interesting is that those people never keep the progress that they made. It's weird, right? Because you'd think that after they got rid of it the easy way, they'd keep it because it was like really easy. But what's really interesting is that when it comes to fat loss, right? It's not about just doing cardio. It's not about just dieting and eating clean, right? Those are important, but the biggest thing that has to do with the biggest thing that you need to learn to lose the fat is that you need to become he who can lose the fat, right? And what's really interesting is that when most people try and do, what most people are gonna eventually try and do is they'll go on like a diet. They'll tell themselves, okay, I'm gonna go on some crazy workout routine. And they might stick with it for a few weeks, but they always lose all the progress they made because they didn't focus on becoming he who can and building this identity that you can only do when you trade in enough pain. This is why you'll see like freaking lottery winners and stuff. Like if you can hear this on the news, right? There are these people who like win $50 million or some crazy stuff, right? But within a few years, they lose like every single bit of it. And the reason for that is because just like with fat loss, because they got the easy way out, they haven't learned to keep it. They haven't gone through those tests, those trials of embracing that pain. And so they lose all the fucking progress that they made because they weren't focusing on the right thing. And this is what you need to understand, right? Wait, let me just pull up my notes. Hold up. 1 second, sir. Yeah. The worst part about trying to lose fat is that no matter how much, like this is the opposite, right? Every single time you eat the junk food because you want to get pleasure, right? You're actually choosing pain later. And this is the biggest part about being fat. Being fat is, of course, in its own self, like fucking horrible, right? Like I hated every second of it. But honestly, it was even more painful to know I was fat, to know the things that I needed to do, but just repeatedly not doing those things, right? I would always tell myself, oh, exercising is too hard. But in the back of my mind, I would know, oh shoot, I should exercise more. And so it's really funny, right? Every single time you trade in pleasure, every single time you do the pleasurable thing right now, you actually suffer more because of it, because it's like you're telling your future self, screw you, I don't want to make you feel better because I want to feel pleasure now. And the thing that you need to understand is that every single time you do the fun habits, right? Oh, you play the video games for hours you play Genshin Impact with your friends, it's all cool, right? In the back of your mind, you know for a fact that you are disrespecting your future self. You know that you just lose respect for yourself, right? And what I found is that when you lose respect for yourself, inadvertently people are going to respect you less because you carry yourself around with this energy like you don't even truly even like yourself. And this is why, I'll tell you this right now, when I lost over 15 pounds, right? My social life itself also got like 10 times better. And I'm going to link this all back to fat loss, right? But I just want to show you right now that the pain that you trade in is actually just you investing in your future self. And the reason I'm hammering in this so much is because, just visualize this with me. Imagine that you're laying there at the end of a day where all you did was the good habits. You traded in the pain and now you get the rewards of it. You're thinking to yourself, man, I'm so proud of myself. I hit a workout today. Even though I didn't feel like it, I did it. Oh, my friend offered me junk food, but I said no because I knew that I want to lose fat and I need to stop eating that. And you can imagine yourself going through the day, doing all those good habits, and just feeling this sense of respect, of purpose, of fulfillment. But let's say you have your average days, the life that you might be living right now, where all you do are the bad habits, right? So you're laying there in bed and thinking, oh yeah, so I played video games for like 6 hours a day. I was watching YouTube for pretty much the entire day, and I was eating junk food while I was watching. So I didn't even enjoy it. I got in an argue with my parents today. I did all of these things that I thought would give me pleasure then. But now I just feel like shit. What's funny is that is the life that most people live. Most people operate on the sense that this might be you, and this is definitely me for most of my life, where people just operate on like the least, like you might have heard this term, like the path of least resistance, which basically means like you have this sort of option, right? You can either do the hard thing now and benefit from it, or you can do the easy thing now and suffer later. And what's pathetic is that most people simply choose that route because they just think to themselves, if it's pleasure right now, if I feel good right now eating the junk food, then I might as well do it. But people forget that you're gonna face the consequences of whatever you did today in the future. And so what I want you to do, and the reason I'm just hammering this in so much, is that you need to have a new mindset of choosing to make your future self, just keeping your future you in mind in every single decision you make. And the art of losing fat is just you doing that over a long enough period of time so that you start to see rewards from it. Because here's the thing. This isn't your first time trying to lose fat and watching some BS video talking about how to lose fat, how I lost fat, how it's so easy to lose fat. But the biggest thing that I needed to learn was just the art of doing shit that felt bad because I was trading in the pain for the future that I wanted. And so, yeah, that's pretty much the entire video because, okay, what the fuck? Okay, I'm probably gonna edit this part out, but, if you found any value in this video, here's the thing, right? You setting this goal for yourself is great, right? You want to lose fat, but the problem that you might have been facing right now is that every single time you do that bad habit, right? Like you eat the junk food, you do the bad thing. You don't see immediate bad results. It's not like you eat the junk food and all of a sudden you inflate to like fucking 500 pounds, right? It's like a slow, steady decrease in your progress until you're eventually a fat kid, right? And what also happens is that every single time you do the bad habit, every single time you do the good habit, what's funny is that you don't see results immediately. It's not like in a video game where you immediately, it's not a linear growth. You don't immediately see progress, right? And so what I found was that I also used to struggle a lot with me simply being unable to stay consistent just because I didn't see the rewards quick enough. And if you're struggling with this right now, here's the thing, right? I have a full video that I'm going to put in the description that basically talks you through exactly how I formulated my entire fat loss journey, almost like I was setting a quest for myself in a video game. And it made me 10 times more motivated, and it made it so much easier to lose the fat. And so my action step for you is, now that you have this new mindset for trying to lose the fat, I want you to scroll down and click on that video because it will make it so much easier for you to stay consistent. And so if you want more value just like this, where I just give you advice on losing fat and achieving your goals and just becoming your best self as a teen, then go down and subscribe right now so that you get more videos just like this posted to your feed. My name's Atharv, and I like to just help teens out with the problems and just losing fat as a whole so that you can do the same thing that I did in half the time. So don't go down and subscribe right now. Go watch that video, and as always, my name's Atharv. See you soon, bro.